Hello, everybody. I need to vent because I'm losing my mind right now. Um, so I am not really the kind of person to indulge bullshit, right? Like, if I lately too, I feel like I've been trying to practice and getting better at improving my bullshit detector. I'm good at knowing when someone is telling the truth, when someone's being honest. I can sniff out bullshit from a mile away. And I've always been this way, but the only problem is when I question myself. And abusive, manipulative people will use absolutely anything at their disposal to make you doubt yourself. And they'll make it you or them. It's like either you're going to trust me or you're going to not trust yourself. Um, so you can't trust yourself and trust this person at the same time. And that's a tough position to be in, especially if it's someone that you want to like or love or whatever. But it happens all the time. And unfortunately, um, there are a lot of people in the world who are dishonest, who are manipulative, and one of the most fascinating types of these people are catfishes. And a catfish is someone who pretends to be someone that they're not. Um, People do it in all sorts of contexts. People do it in dating. That's, I think, the most common. You make up a fake profile and you get someone interested. You're trying to get a date with them. But sometimes people do it in a less manipulative way where it's not so much like they're trying to get something from a specific person. It's more just that they've invented a fake personality for themselves online because they don't feel comfortable showing their true selves. Um, so I want to talk about the psychology behind it, my theories of why people do it, and advice for people who are doing it, who I know at least one of them watches my YouTube videos, and just cover the topic. It's not something I haven't talked about before. I don't know, a month ago, 2 months ago, something like that. I had a couple weird incidents all just in succession with like three or four different crazy people that I had run-ins with, like all in the same day. Um, and it was very weird. So the one that I talk about the most is Craig the Christian Spanker. This guy was not a catfish, but he is very, very weird. And I mean, this guy, I literally just messaged me on Facebook out of the blue. Don't know who he is, don't know how he found me, just messaged me, started talking about me, and I'm like, "Hi," and I was like, "Do I know you?" And because he said hi first, and he's like, "Can I ask you a question?" And I'm like, "Yeah." It's a really weird thing to say to somebody. And he goes, "Have you ever been spanked before?" And I'm thinking, well, probably in my childhood. I think I have a memory of my dad's wife doing that to me at some point when I was a little kid, but no, not probably in the context you mean, which I assume is sexual. So I was like, I don't know, probably. And then I just kind of moved on from it. And then he just kept yammering about spanking. And I'm like, dude, who are you? And he goes, I'm Craig and a spanker. That was how he worded it. Okay? Like, you can't make this shit up. It's as weird as it sounds. And it got to a point where we just kept talking, and I got mad at him, and I said, "Do you have a personality outside of spanking? Because that's like all you talk about." And he kept saying, "You deserve a spank. You're bad." And I'm like, "I'm not bad. I haven't done anything. I'm a good person." And he's like, "No, do you swear?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Well, then that makes you bad." And I'm like, "No, I will dispute that. I don't think there's anything wrong with swearing." So I was just going along with it because I don't really, I don't care. It wasn't like it was taking up a ton of my time or focus. I was just, in passing, just responding to his messages as I was getting the notifications. Or I don't get notifications. I just mean like if I opened up Facebook and saw an unopened message, I just would respond to it. So it wasn't a huge deal on my end. But it got to a point where I was actually getting annoyed when I looked at the conversation and realized how little was actually being said, and it was just all about spanking. And I was like, what the fuck? So I said, "Do you have a personality outside of spanking?" And to my surprise, he said, "Yes, I'm a huge lover of Jesus Christ." And I thought, well, what in God's name? No pun intended. That is not what I thought you were gonna say, dude. That is really weird. So, then I started asking him questions about that, and I tried to like not have a debate, but I tried to just figure out what he believes, because he said something very specific. He said Jesus can do absolutely anything. He has complete power, and he's completely loving. And I said, okay, hold on. I'm not trying to dispute your religion. I'm not trying to dispute your beliefs, but that specific statement I have a problem with. If you really believe that there is a man who is all loving and all powerful, can do absolutely anything, then why isn't he doing a lot of things to stop pain and suffering from happening? If you actually read about Jesus and learn about what, biblical Jesus um, believed in and fought for, there are a lot of things going on in the world right now that if Jesus had complete power to do anything in the world, he probably would use that power to stop these things from happening. But they're happening anyway. So I brought that up, and I learned how incompetent he is. He could not even process what I was saying, and his responses made no sense. So I was realizing, I'm like, okay, this is going nowhere. And I was realizing I wasn't getting any of my questions answered, and then he brought up spanking again. Then he told me he was straight, and I was like, then why are you talking to me? What? I mean, it made it even weirder. And then he goes, "Cause I care about you. That's just the way I am." It got to a point where I was so annoyed that I don't know how it I don't know what else was said before I said this, but I snapped and said, "I hate you." And he goes, "Oh, but I care about you." And I'm like, "But why? Who are you?" And it drove me nuts. So we stopped talking. The next day, for some reason, he messages me again and starts acting like none of that was said the previous day. And I told him that I had a boyfriend, and he acted surprised and jealous. And I was like, dude, I literally said I hated you yesterday. Why did you think that? Did you think you had a chance with me? What the fuck? So that was insane in and of itself. But then again, just incompetence, not answering any of my questions. He clearly had some type of mental disability. I mean, I can't judge him if it was a disability, but I differentiate mental disability with mental illness. A mental condition, disorder, disability, all kind of the same thing. Um, Condition is kind of an all-encompassing term. However, not every mental condition is a disability. It's only a disability if it actually prevents you from doing things like disability is being blind, you know. But if you are colorblind, that isn't technically a disability because, well, I guess you could say it is because there are some things that you're not able to do. Like you you can't always tell what colors are what. But just for example, there are some things that don't technically prevent you from doing anything. Like if you had an extra finger, right? That is a condition, but it isn't a disability because there isn't really anything that it limits you from doing aside from maybe wearing a glove. So, do you see what I mean? There are some conditions that don't disable you, and there are some mental conditions too that just cause you to work differently. Your brain functions differently, you behave differently, but you aren't really disabled because you aren't at a disadvantage. It's just differently abled, you know? Um, Disabled means that you literally can't do certain things, and that's not your fault. It's just the condition that you're in is prevents you from doing things. However, mental illness, as the name implies, just like physical illness, it's not something that you can blame on outside circumstances. An illness is something that it comes from a result of poor mental health, poor mental hygiene. So when you fail to take care of your mind and your body, you become ill, and people descend into madness with mental illness. And you can tell people who are mentally ill are often very toxic. They vibrate on a very low frequency, and they are completely out of touch with reality. Everything that they do comes from a place of fear and manipulation and control, to a point where that's almost all they are. You don't really see much of a person behind it. And to varying degrees. Some people go so far with this that they become like serial killers and all sorts of evil criminals who do horrible horrible things to other people. That stems from mental illness. That is not a mental disability. You can't justify that and say, well, it's not their fault. They have a disorder. That's not a disorder. That's not a disability. That's not a condition. It is a result of bad hygiene, mentally, physically, whatever. They're not taking care of themselves, and they have no one to blame but themselves. I know a ton of people who had horrible circumstances and they persevered. They not only persevered, they thrived, and then they increased their empathy and didn't make decisions from a place of low-level manipulation and fear and control. They, had a high vibration, and that's because everyone can choose to do that. It's a matter of choice. It's called alchemy, transforming something negative into something positive, something everyone is capable of. But people with mental illness, they try to act like they're a victim. They try to act like, oh, woe is me, I have a mental disability. No, you don't. You didn't take care of yourself, and you're going to have to start. Otherwise, it's only going to get worse, and you're going to just become gone. Like, it's going to be really hard to see the real you buried underneath all of the whatever you have on the surface, because it isn't you, it's just darkness. I mean, in my own spiritual beliefs, I think even that can sometimes lead to possession and attachments from other darker energies that are drawn to you because you start vibrating on that low frequency. You kind of attract what you put out, so you're going to have a lot of shit going on, and it can get really messy. But you don't have to believe in that aspect of it. That's just my own stuff. But why is my dog barking? Hold on. Let me see if anybody's home. This was just a spontaneous live stream because I just had an incident. Oh, yeah, my grandparents are home. Alright. That's why my dog's barking. Okay, so I just had an incident with a longtime subscriber. Ever since I started doing these live streams, I want to say like 10 or 11 months ago, I had this subscriber named Dave London who would come onto my YouTube channel and comment all this stuff about me, and I thought of him as like my #1 subscriber. And Cheryl is another one who would always comment on all my videos. I love Cheryl. She is a very sweet and very normal person. Dave was always very weird and clearly very mentally ill. He, much like Craig the Christian Spanker, would never answer any of my questions, would never acknowledge anything that I said, and would conveniently ignore anything that he might have not wanted to hear. Anytime I made a video discussing a serious topic, something that I was really passionate about, he would never comment on the topic. And then there was Cheryl commenting on the topic and saying, wow, I'm so glad you covered this topic, here are my thoughts, and she'd type out a little paragraph, showing that she actually watched the video and had an interest in what I was saying. And Dave would just comment like a little heart emoji or something, very half-assed. So Dave was a very half-assed supporter. He was always there, but he never gave me the impression that he actually cared about anything I had to say. He never gave me the impression that he actually listened to me. He was constantly trying to tell me that my boyfriend was just my friend, and that he, in fact, was my boyfriend, and he kept saying that he loves me, and just weird shit like that. Constantly trying to insert himself into my life. He would tell people that I was a Trump supporter. He goes and tells other YouTubers about me for some reason, and then tries to tell me about other YouTubers. Just very, very weird behavior. And, to the point where I got the impression that all he does is sit around and watch YouTubers all day. I also got the distinct impression that something about him just didn't seem like a real person. I couldn't anthropomorphize him. He seemed like an idea rather than an actual human being. It just like a concept, not like a real person. I couldn't figure it out. He didn't have a picture of himself in his profile picture. It was just a name and a bunch of these weird comments. And I couldn't figure it out. I couldn't figure out who he is or what the point of him was. And he just was so weird. And it just occurred to me how much he was reminding me of Craig the Christian Spanker and this other catfish. Craig wasn't a catfish, but this other guy who was a catfish named Dale Ward. Probably not his real name, but this guy on Facebook who had a very clearly catfishy profile. All the pictures were blurry and looked like stock photos of a model, and my friend and I did a reverse image search and we found the person whose images he used, and I found an identical image from one that was on his profile on the real guy's Instagram, and I sent it to him and I said, hey, see, why did you lie to me? You are a catfish. And he was like, no, I'm not, why would you do that? You should have, and he yelled at me and made a whole fuss about it, and it was like, come on, you do not get to act like you have the moral high ground here, sir. You have been lying to me, wasting my time and energy, indulging your bullshit. All this guy did was talk about himself on the phone, and he sounded like a 50-year-old man, and I'm supposed to believe he looks like a 20-something-year-old model. This is the thing, I knew the entire time that it was bullshit. There was never a single moment when I indulged the idea that it could be true. I knew it was bullshit, and I was trying so hard to get him to admit it. I was trying so hard to get him to prove that it was real, because I was like, okay, if you're real, you should be able to do this. I was like, Why can't you turn on your camera? Why can't you video call me? Why can't you do this? Why can't you do that? And he just always had an excuse. And it was like the weirdest excuses. It was so bizarre, the things these people come up with. Um, just very, very stupid. And I was very glad when I proved it. But it blew my mind that even then he wouldn't admit it. And he still found a way to somehow act like he was the victim. So I started, this was like a month or two ago. So I started getting these vibes from Dave. Dave started showing me what he looked like. He briefly changed his profile picture to have a picture of him. And I always thought it was weird. There was another YouTube channel that supposedly was also Dave, called like Cody's Fanboy or something, and I found him commenting on another YouTuber that Dave told me to watch. So I went to that profile picture, like, wait a minute, that's the picture Dave used. Is that Dave? So, oh my God, here he is. Yep, Cody's Fanboy. There's Dave. So you're mad at someone who watched your lives, gave you constant praise, and never said a mean thing to you. Dave, I'm not saying mean things to you. You are lying to me. You have used fake pictures, all right? I'm not gonna talk directly to him. I'm done. I'm done with this motherfucker. He just he listen, I'm gonna talk about him because I don't have an interest in engaging with a liar. Um I have better things to do with my time and energy than show up for someone who isn't going to show up for me. You know, be honest and open and truthful with someone who can't do the same for me. That is that's insane. Why would I do that? And see, this is what they do. They try to act like the victim. They're like, "Oh, you're being mean to me." Are you kidding me? I'm being mean to you? Oh my God. Like, it's absolute insanity. No one is dumb enough to use their real name on YouTube. See, now I'm dumb, right? Because this is my real name. A lot of people use their real name on YouTube. A lot of people. Most YouTubers do. Um, because there really is no risk, I mean, think of all the celebrities in the world. Don't you know their real names? Like, come on. It's insane to suggest that using your real name is somehow dangerous. All it can get you, at worst, is maybe somebody finds where you live. But then, like, what are they gonna do? I keep my doors locked anyway. Like, it's just like it's ridiculous, and no one would be that obsessed with me to like come hunt me down anyway. And there, even if someone was that obsessed with me, it could happen anyway. I can't hide my name forever. So yeah, I'm putting my name on my YouTube channel. It's not that big of a deal. And then there's Dave practically admitting to me that his name really isn't Dave. um you know which I guess I somewhat knew, because why would he use his real name if he didn't even have his real profile picture? But anyway, as I was saying, I found this other picture of him and I realized that, oh, this is the same picture, and I didn't know if it was real. So we started talking more. He finally got Discord, so he finally had a way to actually privately communicate with me instead of on YouTube. So we started talking on Discord a couple weeks ago, and he just recently started sending me more pictures of himself and trying to talk more and like having an actual conversation. And I started to get the same vibes that I got from the Catfish Dale Ward. I got catfish vibes from Dave, and I said that to him. I was very honest with him. I said, I think you're a catfish. Why don't you video call me? Why don't you prove that you are who you say you are? And then he starts going on about, oh, looks don't matter. Very much a catfish thing to say, isn't it? If you really believed looks didn't matter, why didn't you just tell me that you don't want to show me what you look like? Why would you try to show me someone else and say that it's you? That's insane. So then there's this other guy, Trent Briggs, who I think is Dave, because all of Dave's old comments from his old channel now say Trent Briggs, which, like, how would that just happen by coincidence if they're two different people? Trent Briggs is another commenter who Dave is supposedly friends with, even though I think they're the same person, and he added me on Facebook the other night. We talked for, like, 5 seconds. It was a very brief conversation. And he said, Dave said you guys are dating. And I'm like, I don't know Dave. Dave just lies. Dave says a lot of weird shit. um, Dave goes on and on about like Christianity again, like reminded me of Craig the Christian Spanker. He's like, oh, I love Jesus and I love Trump, and just like, oh my God, he's fucking nuts. He's insane. Um, so I just sent Dave a kind of final text on Discord. I told him I did reverse image search. I found the real images that you used, and I know you like superimposed somebody else's face onto them. I don't know if it's his face or whatever, but he took a real person and edited his face onto it and then sent it to me as if it was a real selfie. And it was so obvious that it wasn't, because these people aren't good at hiding it. It's very obvious that something is off. But reverse image search worked. He even told me to do a reverse image search, and then I was talking to Aaron, another YouTuber that he introduced me to, and I was talking to Aaron about it, and he said, "Did you do reverse image search?" And I said, "Well, he told me to, but I didn't bother." And then I said, "You know what? Let me actually try it." So I did it, and sure enough, I found all the pictures that he used, and I did the same thing with Trent Briggs, because every picture on his profile looked weird, and like I said, it looked like AI generated shit, and it turns out it actually is someone else's face edited onto a different person. So Trent is a catfish too, and they're probably both Dave. Dave probably has more than one account that he's pretending is not him. He's very, very creepy. He acts like he's this innocent, friendly person, but he's just weird and creepy and can't be honest. And I'm sorry, you should not open your mouth if you can't speak the truth. If everything you're saying is untrue, shut up. Stop talking. Stop commenting on my videos. Stop commenting on other people's videos. Stop being a weirdo and stop being a creep. Make a real profile with your real name, or stop talking. If you want to hide your name, do what fake account does and put fake account as your name, or just put something that's like obviously a fake name. Put, like, I don't know, something that's like clearly made up so that no one thinks you're real, and just hide, just admit that you want to conceal your name and your identity. That's okay. You don't have to put that information out there, but if you want to conceal that information, at least admit that you're concealing it. Don't pretend that you have a different name. Don't pretend to be somebody else. Don't act like you aren't who you say you are. It is insane. Aaron keeps telling me to block you. Aaron, for the love of God, stop telling me to block people. I don't block people. I don't block anybody for any reason. It's just not something I do. If you tell me to block him one more time, I'm going to block you. For the love of God, it's so annoying. Oh my God. Let's see. And the pic you sent me is a totally different looking guy. Yeah, it's a totally different looking guy because you edited your face onto him. Jesus Christ. That's not true. They say Dave London. Tristan, it's dangerous to give your private info on YouTube. I'm not Trent, by the way. You're saying I owe you my personal info. You're putting words in my mouth. If you listened to anything I just said, I never said you owe me your personal info. I said you owe me the truth. And if you want to tell me that you don't want to give me your personal info, my dude, just tell me that. But you're acting like you've sent me pictures of yourself. You're acting like you've given me your real name. Your name isn't Dave. I haven't seen any pictures of you. I probably don't even know how old you really are. I don't know anything about you, because all I know for sure is that you're a liar. And that's not a good foundation for any kind of relationship. Not a relationship with a subscriber, not a relationship with a friend, and certainly not a relationship that's romantic, which I wouldn't have had with you anyway. But, you act like you're in love with me, so, clearly you're not. You don't know anything about me. Like, I asked you to tell me about myself to see if you've actually been paying attention to any of the videos you've supposedly watched, and you couldn't do it. All you knew was that I like, that one time I ate McDonald's, which you think that means I love chicken nuggets. Just because I ate them one time doesn't mean I love them. I hardly ever eat McDonald's. There's really not many things from McDonald's that I even like, so that isn't even accurate. And I probably said that in the live stream, but you probably weren't even paying attention. You thought my parents were divorced. My parents were never married. You know, that never even happened in the first place. So there's nothing to be divorced from. What else did you say? You were right, I live in New York, but I don't give all my personal info out there. You have my first and last name. It's not that big of a deal. It's not like I'm telling everybody every intimate detail of my life. I have my location turned off on Snapchat. I just, I try to be careful, but within reason, because I know I can't hide everything. So I just, I can't wrap my head around this shit. It's like, what are you saying? I would never demand a photo from an online friend. Dude, you sent me a photo. If you want to act like you wouldn't demand a photo from an online friend, then don't send me photos claiming that it's you. Why are you trying to ignore the fact that you lied? All right? Like, if you don't want to send me your photo, just fucking admit that. Don't send me someone else. Because I said to you, Dave, I said to you 2 days ago, I said, now is your chance to come clean. If you've been dishonest with me about anything in any way, now is your chance to tell me. I'll forgive you and you can tell me the truth from now on. But If I find out later that you are being dishonest with me, we're gonna have a problem. I better not find out that you've been lying to me. If you're gonna go with the story right now that you've been telling the truth the whole time, so now's your chance to come clean. It's now or never, Dave. And I gave you that opening, and you followed that by sending me a picture of some random online model whose picture is on a ton of different websites, and just edited the face to make it look different. And it was a really shit edit job too. Um, so for all I know, you could just be some like creepy, self-loathing 50-year-old who sits around all day doing nothing but watching YouTubers who are a lot younger than you and leaving creepy comments on their videos. Dave, I feel honestly, I feel violated by a lot of the creepy comments you've made about me. How you think that I'm your boyfriend and you're in love with me and all that shit. Get the fuck away from me. That is creepy and uninvited. And the fact that you're doing it under false pretenses, not even telling me anything true about yourself, just makes it even creepier. I was always a little creeped out by it, but I was also curious. I was like, all right, well, who is this guy? And I was hoping to maybe get to know you, but clearly you're not interested in letting me get to know you, so fuck off. Just entirely fuck off. You're 26. Yeah, I don't believe you. You said you were 25. It could be true, but I don't believe you. You asked for numerous photos. Dude, I asked you just to prove that you were you. I asked you for a video call. I don't recall asking you for numerous photos. I just was like, send me whatever you want. I gave you some suggestions of things you could send me, but I didn't say, send me a bunch of photos of yourself. I'm not asking for a lot. I'm just asking for you to be honest with me. This isn't rocket science, but of course, to people like you, to catfishes, and I don't have time to break down the psychology of it right here because, Zach, my boyfriend, is coming over in like, I don't know, 5 to 10 minutes, and I want to end this before that happens. So, let's just try and wrap this up. I don't have time to break down the psychology of why someone would be a catfish, but one thing that I can briefly tell you is that it comes from a place of deeply rooted self-loathing. You might want to check out my channel trailer on my other channel, Philosophical Psychology. It's called Can You Love Yourself Too Much? And it's about the idea that if you are afraid to admit truths about yourself, you have a sense of shame and you don't want to acknowledge things about yourself, you'll just lie to yourself. And then you spiral into insanity and mental illness because you aren't being honest with yourself about your flaws. If you love yourself infinitely and you understand that it isn't possible to love yourself too much, then you can actually see all the parts of yourself that you may have been ashamed of and love them anyway, and then be open about them. And now that doesn't mean that you shouldn't hold yourself accountable for cruel behavior, but by loving yourself, you won't want to avoid accountability for bad behavior because that comes from a place of self-love and love for other people is, being honest. So, Dave, look within yourself, ask yourself, is there anything about me that I'm ashamed of or embarrassed about? And then just, don't be afraid of the answer. And then apologize to the people that you've lied to and hurt. Okay? I promise you'll feel free. You're living in a prison. You gotta free yourself, man. Get out of there. Have real relationships with people. I promise you, having friends that you can actually be honest with, it's a great feeling. I have a ton of friends, and we don't need to ask for pictures of each other. We don't need to worry about anything like that because I just know that they're being honest. I can just tell. And that was one of the things that I was saying at the beginning of the video is I have a good bullshit detector. I can always tell when someone's lying to me, and I always had a bad taste in my mouth with you, Dave. I always knew you were creepy. There's something weird about you. Fake account is at least honest about the fact that that isn't their real name. They don't comment on my videos anymore, but I enjoyed their presence. They were funny. And that was enough. They were just a commenter. They weren't trying to act like they were anything more, and they weren't making creepy comments about me acting like they're in love with me. So Dave, fuck off. Like, really, I'm so done with you. Let's see what you said. Your issue is you don't accept people. Not true. You test people. Not true. You just feel tested because you've been lying to me, and I called you out. And judge people. Yeah, I'm not judgmental at all. You're a glass is half empty person. Yeah, I'm not at all. Like, again, this is all just your perspective because you don't like that I'm telling you the truth about yourself. Really, you have a ton of friends, yet I'm your only YouTube viewer. Even Aaron hasn't been there for you. Aaron is watching this right now, and he's texting me because he isn't able to comment. You know, not all my friends watch my YouTube because they have lives of their own, unlike you, Dave. Um, I knew that you would join if I went live. Good lord, you are so predictable. Um, yeah, I mean, if I tell my friends to join, usually they'll watch, but again, only if they have time to, you know? It's a live stream. It's not like you can just watch it later. But, my YouTube channel is my business. It's not something all my friends have to do. It doesn't mean they aren't friends with me. It doesn't mean they don't care about me. Like, I don't feel obligated to watch everything my friends do. It's like their job. Like, I don't have to be interested in everything that they do in their work. Everybody has lives of their own. There's too many other people. So, I have a life of my own. I can't be too focused on someone else's life. Um, so yeah, Dave, I mean this wholeheartedly. I think that you could be a good person if you really wanted to, but where you are right now, you are not even a person. You're just an idea of a person. So please, do some work on yourself and then come back. I would love to have you back. I would love to see you being yourself and, getting some healing done that you clearly need because something is clearly very wrong with the way you think. And by the way, I don't believe you when you say you aren't Trent, and I know that you didn't really send me pictures of yourself. I mean, are you kidding me? It's literally the same picture. It showed up in reverse image search, and you're expecting me to believe that it was you. How were you planning on he said he was going to send me a picture of himself holding like a paper with my name on it. How were you planning on doing that, Dave? He wasn't, because he could have probably done it right then and there if he was a normal fucking person. But he said, I have to go to the store. I'll do it later. That means I'll just continuously come up with excuses and delay it into oblivion. He was never going to do it. He couldn't because he hasn't shown me himself. How can he send me a picture of himself holding my name if I don't even know what he looks like and he doesn't want me to know? You know? Dave, I don't care what you look like. I don't care if you're a 50-year-old man and if you think that you're really creepy and you don't want people to know what you really look like. I don't judge. I would not judge you. I'm judging you for being a liar, okay? I'm judging you for wasting my time and energy trying to lure me in with this bullshit only to not have anything to deliver. You're a liar, you're a time waster, and you're a creep. So please, grow some fucking balls and start being yourself and just be honest. Don't put words in my mouth. If you wanna put words in my mouth, go right ahead. But if you want to actually listen to what I've said, just go back and watch this from the beginning because I haven't said anything that I regret. I'm pretty honest and candid on my YouTube channel as I've always been. But I've got to go. So thank you for watching, whoever tuned in. I think it's just Dave and Aaron. But yeah, I just needed to go on a rant because catfishes are just a whole crazy thing, and it blows my mind that someone could do that, and it's so creepy. I mean, imagine like thinking that it's normal to like stop the stream, you're mad right now. Aaron, for the love of God, stop policing me on my YouTube channel. Oh my God. Aaron, I know you mean well, but I really need you to stop because when you say shit like that, it drives me nuts. Do not tell me what to do. Do not tell me how to make my videos. Even before I went live, he was trying to tell me when to do it, how to do it, who to do it with. And now he's trying to tell me I should stop the stream because I'm mad, as if I'm not allowed to be mad, as if it isn't my body that's angry, as if I'm not the only one affected by it. It's my YouTube channel. I'm the one who's mad. Let me fucking be mad. I think I have a right to be mad when someone's been wasting my time and annoying the shit out of me for, like, what, 11 months you've been commenting on my videos, Dave? And now I find out that you've been lying the whole time? I knew that there was something off about you, but it's so different to actually have proof that I really have physical fucking evidence that you have been using fake pictures and trying to convince me that it's you. It's insane. So yeah, I've had it up to here with catfishes. I can't stand it. I can't stand people telling me what to do. Aaron's really driving me nuts with that shit. It just like, oh my God, I'm so done. Let me see. Dude, I'm not even monetized. You haven't generated any income for me. You generated income. Yeah, oh, look how convenient. He said he already took the pic, but he won't send now. I just gave him his excuse that he was going to find an excuse either way. You'd think he would want to send me the pic if there really was one, right? Don't you think? If he was so, he cared so much about me and really wanted to prove that he was a real person. I think there's a lot of things he could have done if that were the case, but he didn't do any of them. So yeah, clearly he's full of shit. Yeah, I'm not wrong about anything, Dave. and you know it. This is what bothers me so much, is we both know the truth, and you're still trying to act like I'm wrong. You and I both know that's not true. You know it. Like, I'm talking to the real you right now. I don't know what your name is, but listen to me. Whoever the fuck you are, stop lying to me. Stop playing the victim. You are a creep, and I would like you to leave me the fuck alone. Stop commenting on my videos. I don't need you. I don't need your engagement. I don't need your viewership. I don't even make money from my videos. I would do much better without a creep commenting weird shit about me, lying about me being a Trump supporter, telling me that I'm, in a relationship with him when I'm not. I don't need that shit. So please, fuck off. I can block you, but I'm choosing not to. I could block you from commenting on my YouTube channel. I'm done with you, Dave. The only way that I will ever allow you back into my YouTube channel, my life anyway, is if you admit to me that you've been lying and decide to tell me the truth from now on. And I'll know. You can't lie to me. I will know if you're telling me the truth. So don't even try it. I've known the whole time. You didn't fool me for a second. Why do you think I've been calling you a catfish for the past couple days? I've known you were lying the entire time. You've always weirded me out. So I gotta go. I really do, because Zach is gonna be here any second, and I don't want to be doing this when he gets here. So yeah, I've had it up to here with catfishes. I can't stand it. The idea that someone would be so mentally ill that they would feel justified in grabbing pictures of other people, um, and pretending that it's them, to the extent where you would edit someone else's face onto it. I mean, it's very lazy work too. Like, this is why it just comes off so creepy. It's not like you're some genius mastermind doing this brilliantly. Like, it's very obvious. It's very shit work. You clearly don't know what you're doing, which tells me that you're probably very old and unfamiliar with the internet and how to do things. Like, everything about you just comes off so creepy. Like, you really need to stop being so judgmental of yourself, because the meaner you are to yourself, you sort of create self-fulfilling prophecies. When you think creepy things about yourself, you think lowly of yourself, and you try to hide behind personas, you give off this creepy energy. If you just own it, if you put your heart into it and actually have good intentions, no one's going to think you're creepy, because you are really there. Your heart is in it. I don't judge people for what they look like. I don't judge people for things that are out of their control. I judge people for their behavior, for their decisions, and you are behaving like a creep. So knock it off. Um, I'm gonna catch up on your comments, and then I'm gonna end the video because I think he's here right now. Let's see. Don't worry, I won't watch you ever again. Fantastic. You need God. Dave, you need God. Fucking A. Do you think you're getting into heaven with this shit? I feel sorry for you, Tristan. That's why I watched you. Oh, thank you. You feel sorry for me? What the fuck do you feel sorry for? I'm fine. Good lord. All right, well, good riddance, Dave. I won't miss you, and I will probably talk about you in future videos, just because I kind of find it interesting. I've always had an interest in psychology and weird human behavior, so, for my own processing of this wild information, I'm going to continue to talk about you, and you can feel free to watch, but don't try to engage with me. And if you are going to engage, like I said, start telling the truth. Apologize. You could start there. You could start by apologizing. Anything short of that, I'm not interested in. So, good riddance, and I'll be going live on Sunday. And if I ever, by the way, I decided I'm gonna not just force myself to only do live streams every other Sunday, because I was thinking about it, and Fallen World every 2 weeks doesn't sound like very often. So, I'm still gonna do the same schedule where I do live streams every Sunday and every other Sunday, but the Fallen World episodes and the other, whatever episodes, I don't have to do those on a schedule. I can do them whenever I feel like doing them, but it just means that I'm gonna also be doing them on those Sundays. So, I don't know if that made sense, but basically, I'm gonna do live streams on Sundays between both channels, just like I've been doing, but that's gonna be separate from Fallen World and Just Between Us, those two shows that I do. I still might do them on Sundays, as the live stream, but I might also do a live stream on Sunday that's separate from that, and I might do one of the episodes of the show on a different day of the week that isn't part of the schedule. So it's just, less restrictions, so I can basically add episodes whenever I want, in whatever format I want, whether it's pre-recorded or premiere, live stream, whatever. So yeah, have a great day, everybody who watched. I'm sorry this was me venting. And Aaron, don't call me. Aaron just texted me and said he's gonna call me. Don't call me. I gotta go hang out with Zach. Yeah, so Have a good time, everyone. Thank you for watching. Sorry that I was angry, but like I said, I had to let off steam. I just found this information out, so